What is up, ninjas? My name is SamWorld, and today we're going to be diving into the world of catchy melodies. I've written 5 tips for you guys that are going to help you, and I've tried to kind of put the 5 that are more practical, the ones that you might find yourself using more to add that spice to your melody, to add a bit of variation and whatnot. So I hope these 5 tips help you guys out. I'm going to try and keep the intro short, and let's get straight into them. As always, if you wanted to support my channel, you can head over to evilsounds.com where you can find all my sound design work, and let's get into it. The first tip I have for you guys, and this is one that really makes my head go like a little because sometimes I find myself wanting to make more adventurous melodies, while sometimes I find myself wanting to make sad melodies, and sometimes really happy melodies. Now, this tip is the chords influence the melody more than you think. Now, what I mean by this, guys, is that if you're trying to make a happy melody, obviously make a chord progression that's very upbeat, very energetic, very happy. If you're trying to make emotional stuff, then obviously use more minors, make the chord sound sad. Now, as we go more into the other tips, this tip is going to make a little bit more sense, as you're going to see, but please make sure that if you're trying to make a certain style of melody, that you have the right chord progression to go with it. For instance, let's say you don't want to make a generic melody that sounds like everyone else, then maybe don't go for a generic chord progression. Tip number 2 is going to give value to tip number 1, and that is to utilize lead voicing to start your melody. Now, what this means, guys, is simple. Let's say we start the song off with the chord progression A minor and the track's in A minor, so we got the A, the C, and the E. All this means is that when I start my melody, there's 3 notes, you can say 4 notes I can pick. I can pick that A, I can pick the C, and I can pick the E. Okay, and from there, as you move along in the chord progression, you're going to utilize the same method as you change and you land on that strong beat. Now, the strong beat, all it means is when the chord changes, you want to use lead voicing. You want to be stable so that the melody sounds good. There's obviously other ways. You can be unstable or not use lead voicing and then go to a note that is stable, that is part of the chord. But this is going to create a little bit more emphasis. It's going to give you something to start off with when you're beginning to develop a melody for your song, for the chord progression that you have created. So again, remember tip number 1, chord progressions really influence the melody a lot. So make sure you got a good chord progression that will help you create the melody that you want.
All right, guys, and welcome inside of Ableton. So here I have a chord progression that I'm just going to be playing with a re-space, which sounds like this. Okay, pretty simple chord progression, A minor, so we know that. So I've laid out chords here on top of it, even though I'm only going to keep it to 1 note to keep things simple. However, the reason I put these top notes here is, as you guys know, tip number 1 and tip number 2, chord progression is going to influence your melody heavily. Now, what does this actually mean? Well, when you start a chord progression, or sorry, a melody, usually the first note you want to be stable on a strong beat. So what that means is that you want to be at least landing on one of these notes, A, C, and E. Now, you don't have to do it every single time. You can definitely land on an unstable note, which would be like D, B, G, and whatnot. However, you got to follow it up with something that is going to resolutionize that unstable note. So you got to follow it with a stable note. However, to keep things simple here, I am just going to follow this thing here with lead voicing and keeping it stable on the first beat that we hit. Now, knowing this, I can start my melody on 3 notes, A, C, and E. Each one is going to be fine. So I'm going to start to lay down a sort of like a little melody that we would kind of use in the song. So A, C, and E. So let's go with C first here. Now, when the chord changes, we hit that D and then that C here. So I know I need to switch the notes here and here. Now, again, we are going to switch this up as we go along, but I'm just setting myself up to kind of know what kind of melody I'm going to be going for. So here, when I hit C, I'm hitting maybe the second note here. I can also go now to D, F, or A. So we can maybe go D, F, or A. I think I'll go with, let's do A here, going down instead of up. And then here we're going to go C, E, and G. So we'll probably hit, let's see, maybe we can go back to C if we want, or we could go down to E, but we'll go down to E. So we have a melody that works its way down. Let's go a little higher. And now we're going to have that G there. So G, B, and D. So from here, let's maybe hit, let's see, maybe we can go with G, B, or D. D is right here, which makes that change fast, or B. And now we got a D and a C, so maybe here we could go back up to D. And then maybe here we can hit, let's see, E. Let's just go. And it's going to hit right. So far, pretty simple. We have something of an underlying melody. And again, I'm doing this in theory aspect because I'm going to assume that we want to make a melody that's catchy. But again, we don't really know how to, or we don't have an idea. So we got to work the idea out.
Tip number 3, guys, is to not overuse the same rhythm throughout your melody. What I mean by this is if you guys have heard selected style music, usually it goes like ba 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 ba. So as you can see, that rhythm gets tiring very fast. It's part of that vibe, but what producers do is they switch it up. Maybe one bar of the melody or the first part will have that rhythm, while the second part will add a little bit of syncopation or an extra added note there to add rhythm. And then as the song progresses and we get more towards the second breakdown, let's say, last part of the drop, they might speed it up a bit or they might add little changes to keep the listener in active listening mode. All this means is that the listener is paying attention to your song and not dozing off, not even realizing it's playing on. So try to have a bit of rhythm in the melody so it doesn't sound static. One of the things I like to do before starting a melody is maybe deciding the rhythm that it's gonna have. Now, if you don't know what kind of rhythm, you're really in that writer's block, what you could do as a bonus tip is you can grab other people's melodies and copy their rhythms. A lot of rhythms keep repeating really a lot in various types of music. Next time you're listening to a song, just do that and you're gonna notice that a lot of the rhythms repeat are very similar with little changes to
Now,
them.
when it comes to rhythm is very important, guys. And if you can't figure out a catchy rhythm, do hear your favorite music and just, like I said, hum it out. Ba, 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 ba. So I just heard a song and I'm gonna do that. Ba, ba. So I'm just gonna lay down. Ba, 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 ba. Fixing this part.
The fourth tip I have for you guys is to find a contour in the melody you're making. This is a very simple one. All it means is a melody going up? Is it going down? Is it going up and down? Is it doing gallops? Is it an art melody? You know, you want to look at this just to kind of know what kind of melody you're creating. So definitely pay attention to the artists that you are listening to see what kind of contour they have. You know, a lot of the Martin Garrix stuff is very catchy, but it just goes up the scale and down the scale. It just depends on the song you are listening to. Like one of my favorite songs from him with Justin Milo, I believe it's called Burn or something, you know, da, 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 da. That's just going up and down the scale in a way, and that creates very catchy melody. So pay attention to those things, and I'll show you guys what I mean again in the tutorial as we approach it.
All right, guys, now when it comes to the actual melody, the melody we have right now is pretty much the bare stock, bare bones, just the bones, and we gotta add meat to it. We gotta make a human, something catchy. So from here on, it's all about trial and error in developing the melody, but there is something called having a contour to it. How does it look? So we can work our way up, we can work our way down, we could do various things. Like for instance here, what I decided to do, instead of having the B go all the way down like C, C, D, D, very like going down an octave, why not just bring this guy up? So that way we have this vibe, and then we can mess around with this a little bit more. Here we're gonna still have this as a guide so that we know, okay, what notes are stable and what notes are not. But from here, let's get started. So I could switch this guy up to E, so that way we can work our way down better, or I could keep it at A, and then just revolve here until it starts to work down. Again, these are techniques as a songwriter that you're going to have. But for me, let's just try doing something like this. We'll give it at C. You know. And then we know we got to work our way down to A, so maybe we could go up and work our way down. And then we hit that A there, which is going to be A, F, and D. And then we know we got to work down to that E because, again, the chord is influencing. The chord's about to change. So I can go into the G. I can switch this here. We'll see what sounds better. And then here we're going to have a passing note, which is going to help us get back up to that B. So maybe we could go something like so. Okay, so we can kind of see that's kind of helping there. And there's various variations we can do, which I'm going to show in a bit. But from here, we hit that B now. And we know we're going to be in that B for a while, so definitely. Now, I'm not really liking this B here that we're hitting, so maybe we can work our way to a G instead. Maybe even the E would work there. No, so we got to stay there. So we could even go down to a D instead. I think I should have just left this going down instead of going up. So. Here again, D. That sounds right to me. It's just nothing with D. It's just my brain. Here we have that D, but I feel like we can repeat a melodic motif that we had. Let's go down. So here we go, chord up, then down to C, and C has E in it, so that's good. You can also bring this down to C there. So it's up to you. Here you kind of end the melody already, so that's not the best way to kind of go about it because the melody's ending. We don't want it to, and we want it to keep looping, so E or G would be the best bet. Da, 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 da. Maybe go da, 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 da. Nah, we're just going to keep it simple at E. So there we go. We have jammed out a melody. And the contour on it, obviously, it's going to be going like a little mountain, down, down, a little bit up here, down, stay there, stay there. But you can see we work our way down in the melody to bring people down to this area here. So for sure, from here, we can do other things. Like we can definitely add more movement if that's what we wanted. Like, let's say I really wanted to kind of have that downward motion, then I could just start doing this so that it makes more sense. So we could do... But keeping the melody simple, what we want is something catchy, something that people can hum. So this is da 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 da. So that's really catchy. You can hum it, you can sing it, and it sticks in your head. That's good. But again, we can do various different variations just pertaining to the chord because we have access to 3, and you can put them in any way you really want. For instance, let's say I decide to do something different. Dun, dun. And then here we go, hit that D. So here I could just bring this up. And then again. We can also go up to that E. Dun, dun. And then again here, we got G, a B, and a D. But of course, you know, we're too low now, so we got to bring this up. And here, dun, dun, and then maybe bring this down to whatever this is, C. Okay, so as you guys can see, the melody is very influenced by the chords. Essentially, I'm using my chords to kind of go by it. The issue with this, though, is if you're using chords that another song uses, it can be really easy to just fall into the trap of making something that sounds similar to the chord progression that we have. So sometimes changing it might be even better. So sometimes changing it will probably be the only way if you want to get out of that rut, or changing the rhythms to be different. But remember, it's all about the rhythm, not making it sound repetitive and whatnot, and just going for it when you're creating these kind of melodies.
So you have the melody done, you have catchy rhythm, a nice little contour, you have, you know, everything going, and you just want to add a bit of variation and you're stuck. You can't seem to add any variation. What do? Well, I've developed something for myself, and I don't know the music theory term for it, but I'm going to call it harmonic variation, because what you're going to do is you're essentially going to use a harmonic version of the melody. All this means is, let's say I'm playing A, A, B, C, then instead of playing A, A, B, C, the next time the melody repeats, I'm going to switch the A to a C, I'm going to switch the B to a D, and I'm going to switch that C to a lovely E. Essentially, if you know I'm going +3 semitones up on them, it's kind of like I'm creating a chord, but I'm not playing a chord, but I'm playing a harmonic variation of the melody, which in essence gives me that variation. It sounds nice, and from there you can also mix match that once you have it so that you get a different melody. I consider this a hack, and it might be a crutch again, because I find people are going to use it anytime they want the easy way out, but this is how we're going to do it, and it's pretty simple to do.
Alright guys, and now for harmonic variation, and this again is more of a hack, and honestly I don't expect you guys to use it a lot, and hopefully you don't, because you'll fall into the trap of doing it a lot. But the way it works is simple. We're going to hear the melody twice, and then we're going to add a harmonic variation on the second loop there. So here's the first part we can do it. We can grab that A and go up 3 semitones, 1, 2, 3. So you kind of emphasize that part, like you make it sound a little bit more dramatic. We can make this flow better if maybe we grab this guy as well, or do some of these guys where instead of going straight, they kind of start to go up a bit more, and then have this guy dun dun, and then maybe A, and then do this guy to G. And then you just bring it back, and you get that kind of like openness to it. So it sounds like this. It might be a bit too drastic, but this is my point on harmonic variation. You don't want to do it like this too drastically unless it works, but this is how it's going to sound like. Here, maybe back down to that E or F. So now let's hear one more time. Okay, pretty simple to do it, as you guys can see. Now, if we go back to what we had again, there's another spot we can do it, and that's over here too. It's just wherever you want to emphasize it. And then here. Dun, 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 dun. So instead of hitting this here, you hit that. Now, whenever you want to end the song or the melody to go into a break or whatnot, then the easy variation obviously is to just bring it back to the root note. Dun-dun. Or da-da.
Alright guys, and those are going to be my tips for making catchy melodies. I laid it down to 5 tips just because I didn't want to go a little bit too overboard with it, but I hope these 5 tips make their way into your music. I hope you enjoy these tips. I hope they make you make catchy melodies for your next track, and if they did, make sure to put featuring Zenworld in there or something, because you owe me. I'm just kidding guys, but as always, if you want to support my channel, you can head over to evilsounds.com. I try to make the best videos for you guys with knowledge that for me, it helped me get me out of ruts, helped me essentially improve over time. So I'm cutting your time in half, hopefully, so that you can reach your production goals sooner rather than later. I guess that's the smart way to say it. But you guys take care guys, and I'll catch you guys next time for another video. Peace out. You guys have a great day.